See, in this world, there's two kinds of people. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Houston, we have a problem.
Hi guys, this is Lazaretto, and you're here with one of your hosts, gentlemen.
You're right there, man. It's me, Big Papa Smoke.
Yep, and thanks again for watching the Art Hour After Hours podcast. So, basically, we've been in quarantine now for how many days? It's been
About six days? I have been. You've
yeah,
been
I've been a bit
before.
longer. I think I've been about a week now, a little bit more of a week. And so we're kind of just trying to find things to pass the time now, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it. Like, I'm getting bored now. Like,
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And we feel that there needs to be, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people kind of talking about it in this kind of manner. So
yeah.
we've kind of tried to think of what we can do to pass the time. And we've decided that we'd like to try a podcast, and we're actually going to be reviewing films. So, today we're going to be talking about... What we're going to talk about today?
Today we thought we were going to talk about Uncut Gems, didn't we?
We did, yes. Uncut Gems. That's
Because we did just recently watch it, and we both thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think... So we're thinking that we should start watching a film more, every night or so. But we're going to follow it from a particular list. And so I have with us here 100 most influential movies of all time.
Yeah, we found that clearing up, which is a good little find, I think.
Yeah, it was, yeah, after doing some spring cleaning, which I, by the way, recommend to absolutely anyone. I generally think...
I feel so much better for it.
The first thing you should do if you are going into quarantine is just tidy up the house. Make it feel like a new place, because it's a place you're going to be there for quite some time. And it just, tidy space makes a tidy mind, to be honest. A very wise film editor once told me that.
So anyways, there's 100 films.
Yeah, 100 films. Now,
Most influential films of all
yeah,
time.
I've been having a look through this, right? And I think... Because I was quite surprised by some of the ones on this. So I'll give a little sneak preview of what we have.
Yeah?
I'll give a sneak preview to some films we have, and I think it's actually quite interesting when you see the scope of different films. Because when I first realised we found this, because I remember getting the magazine that came with this and I never read it, and I think that basically I would have assumed the top 100 films, you kind of think of 100 films of all time,
Yeah.
like the best ones, but it's not that.
Nah, it's the most influential films of all time.
Most influential
So
films.
there's films that have changed cinema and for some way good or maybe possibly bad.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I'll say a couple of excerpts on what's on here, and it's really interesting it is really interesting to see what films have made the list and why.
Aye.
And I think it probably gives a bit of a sneak peek for anyone that is listening to us ramble on.
Yeah.
If anyone is listening, then we want to give a sneak peek into what we could potentially be talking about for future episodes.
Yeah, this is it.
We have a system, so we're going for what was the way we're going to do it now?
Well, we were saying we're going to pick. Well, we're going to take turns choosing 3 films at mind, weren't we? And then we're going to let the other guy pick from them choice of 3.
Yes, that's it.
So you were going to choose 3 films. You said you were going to go away and have a think about it. And
Yeah.
I'm now going to pick one of them 3. Aye.
Right. Yes. Well, this of course is for these next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
So I've already got 3 in mind. I'm not going to tell you them.
Yeah. Why don't we
by
wait
the
until
end.
after
Yeah,
the fact we've reviewed it?
Yeah,
It'd be
I'm going
good.
to tell you at the end of the 3. But here's some of the ones in this list. Now we'll go straight with number 1 because it's quite a big one. The most influential film on the top of this list is Silence of the Lambs.
What a film, though.
Fantastic film. It's a film that deserved everything it got. I remember watching it really young though.
Yeah.
So I feel that now watching it, I'd have a very different take on it. It would be quite good. But of course, Anthony Hopkins, it's what made him really.
Yeah, what an actor. All around, really.
Ever since that film, he's kind of catapulted to do some fantastic films.
Mate, you gotta love it though. The Hannibal Lecter. I ate his flesh with a bottle of the candy. Though he was a creepy dude, man. He was scary. Well, he's a scary guy.
That's why it's so good, because
he
in a way he portrays probably one of the most fearful psychopaths in any bit of cinema, and it's because he's not actually doing anything, but he's just talking about it.
Yeah.
And you were understanding the psyche of a serial killer in that film, where a lot of films that focus on serial killers always focus about the murders they create. What was good about this film was it's like talking to him after he's done all that, and you get to see the psyche of a real psychopath. So of course, without going to say, it's one of the biggest ones. But here's a little excerpt of it, of why it's here. It's never been an on-screen killer quite like Lecter, either with Anthony Hopkins' mannered theatrical performance bringing a splash of colour, mainly red, even as it underlines our antagonist's cruel intelligence and cold-hearted menace. It's hard to comprehend that Dustin Hoffman, John Hurt and Robert De Niro were all linked to the part. Hopkins didn't so much make it his own as devours it with some fava beans and some nice Chianti.
Tell you.
Yeah, I like that. Right. So obviously that makes sense. You kind of think of that one and you go, all right, yeah, fair enough. Like that does, I think if it was in 100 best films of all time, it would still probably be in there. I wouldn't necessarily have said number one for a shadow of doubt. It's not my best film I've ever seen. But here's another one that's quite interesting. Twilight. Yeah. The Twilight film.
Twilight?
The first Twilight.
Alright.
I know, that made me go, I was looking at all these and I was going, well, yeah, fair enough, like...
I mean, they got a fan base, but man, I did not enjoy them films.
Well, see, the reason they say that, though, and what they say in this piece here, is that for all that it has major criticisms, because the Twilight films are weird. I was a part of that age gap where, like, I was hanging around with a lot of girls that had started reading it, and so I kind of got reading into it too. Yeah. Now, what it actually says about Twilight films is quite interesting, because it says, although, it has some, horrendous criticism.
Terribly.
Have you ever seen them?
I watched the first one, or at least try to.
Yeah.
And I just did not like it from the start. It's just not my kind of cinema at all.
No, I mean it's a girl's, it's a teenage novel really, and I did read them when they came out, and I kind of enjoyed them, but I very quickly didn't enjoy them.
Yeah.
I feel the films had a big part to play in that.
That is true.
I
never read the
books.
Yeah.
Nah, so. I mean, I wouldn't read them again, to be quite frank. There's a lot of, even apparently from, I've spoken to a few teachers, and even they've said it's appalling literature. Like the grammar and everything else, and it can be quite poor. There's a few bits in there. Yeah. I mean, not slamming it by any means, someone wrote that. But it is also, this has the sole responsibility of producing 50 Shades of Grey, and that I definitely don't agree with.
Oh, God.
By a country mile. Yeah. Not for the reasons many people would think, but yeah. Anyways, swiftly move on. So, before Marvel became a thing, and as clearly took over cinema, the kind of big cash cow was young adult novel books, thanks to the likes of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But Twilight really kicked that off in a different direction, where straight after Twilight you had the Hunger Games, you had, there was the Divergent series, and then you've got Percy Jackson and Lightning Thief.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a lot of the same kind of style of genre. They were teen.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And but what they're trying to say is that Twilight is influential because it spawned that entire category of cinema in a way that Harry Potter didn't. And, which is fair play. I mean, I'm hoping to God that we don't, at any point in the series, we pick that film.
All right.
Or maybe, our audience wants us to, and make us sit through 2 very agonising hours. But here's one final one, just to kind of do the different scope of it all, to kind of understand. Dr. No, the 1962 James Bond.
Mate, I love a classic James Bond. I hope that's on the list. I really hope that's on the list. Mate.
I mean...
Who's your favourite Bond, though?
Right, I mean, I'm going to say this now.
Go on. Because to be
honest... You're not
going
to like this, but I never watched any Bond film until Skyfall came out. So I couldn't care less about Bond until I watched Skyfall, and I thoroughly enjoyed Skyfall.
Yeah. To be honest...
And then I watched Spectre, and I quite enjoyed Spectre as well, and I'm quite looking forward to this new one. The writer for it is the writer from True Detective Season 1. Yep. And that, I know it is enough to me to hopefully think that he's going to pull out a banging script.
It looks good, I mean...
The trailers never do it justice, though, does it? Nah, the trailers always look just generic Hollywood, this is meant to excite you. Yeah. The Spectre trailers didn't, which is what got my hopes up about Spectre, but it just obviously didn't quite hit the mark as Skyfall did in many ways. I actually liked the song for this film. I mean, you've voiced your opinion many times
Yeah.
about Billie Eilish, your favourite artist.
Nah, I'm not a fan. But to be honest, she kind of got that depressing, mopey voice that had suited Bond film.
I know. I feel like this Bond film's gonna, what's been good about the last few is that it's kind of very laden deep with the psyche of the character James Bond.
Yeah.
And but what I'm trying to say is that I've never seen a film since before that, so I'd love to know.
It's very of its time. Very of its time. So just keep it open in my mind, because there's some things, the classic James Bonds, there's like casual racism, left, right, and centre. But you just gotta say of its time. There still are entertaining films.
Right.
But there's some bad stuff goes on in the early ones.
I mean,
but that's derivative of a lot of classics, you know what I mean?
It does say that, it inspired, you can't see a Bond influence on every spy film out there.
Yeah.
Every spy film out there, apparently, according to Total Film, has been inspired by James Bond. And that, to me, I find it really interesting. So I'd quite like to, because the new one's coming out as well, I'd quite like to watch that one on the list.
100%.
To be honest, I feel, which James Bond is it where it's like one of the worst deaths in cinema history, and it's like a guy like blows into a balloon and floats to the roof.
Oh.
It explodes.
That might be
and it's probably one of the most of its time thing I've ever seen in my life.
That could possibly, I remember.
Is that Dr. No? Please, for the love of God, if that's Dr. No, that might have to be coming on the list very soon.
I'm gonna have to have a look and I'll let you know.
Right. Anyway, so that shows a difference. Those aren't the three films that I'm making.
No, I know. We're just showing you the score.
The ones I'm going to make you choose.
We'll do that
later,
at the end.
I'm quite excited for. I feel like I'd be happy if you're picking any one or three of those.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, we're gonna just now. We're just gonna.
Yeah.
Because I haven't picked the film yet. We're gonna talk about Uncut Gems, aren't we?
Uncut Gems, yeah, and the reason I feel talk about Uncut Gems before we get into it is that Adam Sandler is quite an interesting actor when you look at his career path. And
yeah, the fact that he used to be the king of the 90s of the same, but like of obviously like rock slapstick kind of comedy value films.
Yeah. No,
but they were all great. I love Adam Sandler, man. I love him.
Yeah.
I loved them when I was growing up.
I did too. To be honest, some of my favourite films as a teenager were Adam Sandler films. And I fell out of love with them a bit when I went to university. And I remember Adam Sandler being the butt of quite a few jokes at film school. And obviously, I think there was definitely a small part of us that knew they were terrible, but I was very, he's done some trash.
Yeah, he has.
I was very,
but he's done some great films as well.
At the time, when I went to uni, though, he released Jack and Jill.
Aye, but man, that was a terrible film by him. Obviously, he's sold out sometimes. He's done some selling out in his time.
Right, what films, before we talk about his best ones, what films do you think are his worst ones?
Jack and Jill.
Jack and Jill, 100%. Number one, straight at the top of the list.
It's like one of his worst.
I mean, that is one of the most biggest American classic Hollywood cop-outs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love him, so I'm not going to slate him, but...
He's done stuff like that. What's that one where he fought emojis or something? Like, computerised emojis?
Oh, Pixels. Now, I watch Pixels, but I watched it because of my son. My son loves video games. And I kind of went to watch it with him, but there was an odd sense of it where I knew that if I was his age, I would have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But as an adult, not so much. So, I suppose Pixels would be up there. Do you know what film I think wouldn't have aged very well?
What's that?
Billy Madison.
Probably not.
No, I don't think I would enjoy... I enjoyed Billy Madison when I was a kid, and even then I knew it was kind of close to the line.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some bad ones, man. But this one is a good one. I think, honestly, he's been on a bit of a surge at the moment, to be fair. Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's to say he was the king of the 90s, he died in the noughties, and then in these the 2020s ongoing, or the noughties, he's been slowly building a new image.
Yeah, he is, kind of.
Himself. Because, name your top three favourite Adam Sandler films of all time.
Ooh. Let's see. 50 First Dates is one of my favourites.
Bingo.
Mate.
Out of all the Adam Sandler 90 films, that to me is my favourite.
I love that film, man. What a story. Cute story, though, isn't it?
It's such a lovely story. That's what I like about it. Is the story is so heartwarming, and that was the film. Like since I was really young, I've always wanted to retire in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And 50 First Dates is one of those reasons.
Aye, mate, they make that place look so beautiful.
Aye, 100%. I think 50, like when you go to trashy American rom-coms, 50 First Dates is at the top of the pile there.
Yeah,
It
is, like.
it's a good rom-com film.
So that's up there.
Yeah.
I love, like... Oh, I love Happy Gilmore, you know?
Now, Happy Gilmore, I do quite enjoy because he's not being too stupid in that one.
Nah.
But it's about his anger, and he plays angry very well.
Yeah.
That's something you kind of... You've kind of known since you were a kid. But you find him funny when he's annoyed.
You do, right? Oh. You know what? The last one is...
What?
Anger management.
Really good storyline, anger management. It was. I remember watching it and not knowing where it was going to go. And it is quite cool. And of course, Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson's, man. He's class.
Yeah. He's great, yeah. Jack Nicholson. What a guy. But, yeah, so my top three, I think. Now, for being a kid, and I don't know why, because this one probably hasn't aged well as well,
Yeah.
but Little Nicky.
Little Nicky.
I
still like Little Nicky. I think it's quite funny, you know.
I mean, it probably is, but I'm not, as an adult, I'm not a fan now of Adam Sandler's, he has a certain character he plays. It's very similar, like the Water Boy,
Yeah.
Little Nicky, and Billy Madison. Just slightly different variants, but it's all the same character.
Yeah, a bit mentally challenged kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's the bit that hasn't aged well for me.
Yeah, that hasn't, because that's a bit, it's kind of insensitive, but...
Yeah. I mean, but then again, it never clarifies that, in those films, it never once says that...
Aye, obviously. But it's just like you say, it's of the time as well, and it, like,
yeah,
a few things.
100%. So, but my favourite... So 50 First Dates is definitely in there.
Yeah.
I'd say it's my third favourite, 50 First Dates. My second is Punch Drunk Love. Or The Wedding Singer, I'm not sure.
Oh, The Wedding Singer's good.
Yeah,
I forgot about The Wedding Singer,
just has a little bit more comedy to it. That has the right level of comedy to me. Yeah.
Yes. Well shown
But
on that one.
I must say, my favourite film of his now... Oh, Merowitz Stories actually would be number 2. If you haven't seen Merowitz Stories, I fully recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Merowitz Stories has Ben Stiller in and Dustin Hoffman. And it's still a comedy, but it's a very different kind of comedy to what Adam Sandler does.
Yeah.
It's not in your face. It's kind of more dramatically funny. Like the fun is in the drama of it, the humour. But like, there's not jokes being told.
Nah.
And that's some of my favourite films. So definitely Merowitz Stories is probably my second, and that's quite recent as well. And that for me was when I first started paying attention to him again, after all these many years. But I must say, my number one favourite film might actually be Uncut Gems.
Mate, Uncut Gems is really, really good.
Warning, we are going to be talking some spoilers in this film, but if you haven't watched the film yet, I've given you the synopsis. You definitely recommend it and go and see it. I know it
is.
It blew me away. It honestly, it's very rare, and the reason I feel like I wanted to talk about this one with you, because I knew you enjoyed it so much as well, but was the fact that I feel that it was really snubbed by the Oscars.
Mate, to be honest,
Like I do feel there was films in the Oscars this year that were less deserving to be there than Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems is a film unlike anything I've seen before, and it's not. I'm not going to blow its trumpet and say it's like the best film in the world, because to be honest, I think a lot of the element is watching it for the first time. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much the second time, although to be fair, I don't think I'd want to feel that way again the second time.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's, it deserved its place in the Oscars. It is a shame, really, they didn't get through.
Mate, it's the film itself. It's me. Obviously, Netflix film.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was like it was a rush of a film. Like there's never been a film that's made us like feel anxious as much as that film.
Yeah.
Like the rush that the film gave us when I watched it, as it was like certain moments in it where you are like, oh God, man, fuck, just you are praying for it to go to a certain way, and if it didn't, it was causing me anxiety in myself.
Well, that's it.
And it's like and obviously the whole film we were deliberating is it's based off a gambling rush, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I feel that if you want to pick a film to relax to and switch your brain off, it's definitely not that film.
Nah, it's very fast paced, very racy.
Yes, it is a film that you need to pay attention to, but also get sucked into it immediately.
Yeah.
Like I feel like even if you try to put it on to relax to, you will get sucked into it, but you will not feel relaxed at any given moment. It's just tense and anxious, and a lot of things are happening so quickly that it is, as you say, that rush, and it is in many ways the metaphor of a bet.
Yeah.
That horrible
feeling of
feeling of adrenaline. It's like horrible adrenaline and anxiety. It's awful.
And it doesn't do it. It does it in a weirdly subtle way because it doesn't flash that in your face. There's not loads of gambling, but it was because he was that like addiction, wasn't it? It was like that addiction he had, and it was to make his life into that kind of addiction.
Yeah. So anyone that hasn't ever heard of Uncut Gems was the Adam Sandler's recent film.
Yeah.
And it definitely is, you probably guessed by now, a turn in which you realise Adam Sandler can do some serious acting. But what it is about really is a jeweler, isn't it? Is it jeweler set in New York?
Yeah, a jeweler set in New York
that has a gambling addiction.
A Jewish jeweler, that whole life is trying to get that next buck.
Yeah.
So you can flash it onto a big bet, basically.
Yeah, 100%, and it's just crazy to watch because he makes a bet at the beginning of the film, and then the thing he then bets on something else. So and it goes like that. So eventually he's got 5 different bets going on at the same time, or different deals, and if one of those fall out, he has a lot of powerful and terrifying people after him.
Yes,
like he puts himself in a very dire situation.
Terrible situation sometimes, man. That one where you get hog-tied.
100%.
Like a lassoed pig, and he gets put in the car.
Oh yeah. But how intense? I mean, I think the pinnacle of intense, and I'll see if I can find a little snippet and we'll play it to the audience in the podcast as well. They have a listen if I can find a bit. But that moment when he's been waiting for his stone.
Yes.
And the guy comes through, he's stuck at the security door.
Oh yes, mate. Yeah. That scene is
and he's banging on the door, like, let's out. And then there's someone trying to ring him, and then he's also trying to talk, keep them
they're going to leave with the stone that he's been trying to track down for about 3 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, the feeling I was literally on my seat going, open the damn door, get a hammer, man, get a hammer.
Yeah, you're just begging for the door to open.
You just go, get a hammer.
100%.
Oh, mate.
And the worst part is he gets through and realises that the thing that he swapped for the rock he doesn't have at that moment in time.
I know. Oh, what? It's such a...
Yeah.
In the very end, where just... see you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's,
you know what I mean? Just popped him at the end. Just got out
everything finally goes right.
Yes, he pulls it off in the end, and still he couldn't fucking outlast it.
What I was saying is that, so we should start at the end of every episode, I think, rate the film we're talking about, and I think in a way we should make a list at the end of the series of what is regarded as the best ones. And although Uncut Gems is not in the 100 most influential movies of all time on this brochure, but I do believe, and I'm that strong about this film, I do believe that it would definitely become one over time. I think the next so many years we're going to see the Safdie brothers, and we'll see Adam Sandler do some more interesting stuff, and it is going to become influential, I think. But at the minute, so out of 10, what would you rate Uncut Gems as a final say?
Ooh, I've had a bit of a deliberation because it's good. I really did enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it could be like an 8 to a 7.5 for me, like
8 to a 7.5. Say I would go. I'd go 8 and 9 for me.
8 and 9.
8 and 9 for me.
I'm thinking 8 more than 7.5, like.
So we're saying 8. We'll meet halfway.
Let's go. I'm saying 8. Yes, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, and that's a big crown to have, to be honest.
It is, mate. It's like. Does that mean there's only certain? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's only certain films that could make a 9 or a 10, like, but
Yeah, there is, yeah.
respectably high.
And I wonder if we were going to see them. So, are you ready to hear? So, for the viewers,
Yes, I want to hear. This choices that you've got. For us.
So I've had a look through, and I've picked my 3 on this list. And of course, you don't know what the list is yet, but on next episode, you're going to be able to go through this. Right. So these are the 3 that I've picked, and you're going to pick one of them.
Right. Let me hear this. I'm very interested to see. I'm excited as well, to be honest.
Yeah, this is number 39 on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Ooh! That's a flying start. Flying start there, like. Oh, I haven't seen that in a while, but yes.
I've never seen it.
Mate, it's the classic, like, no old style martial arts.
Yeah.
Traditional martial arts films.
Mm-hmm. It was made in 2000 though, which is
it's a big budget one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Got some good actors in there as well, man. Well,
that's option number 1. Option number 2, and this one's at 73, and this kind of comes with a pair of films. Although there's one film on this, if we do get around to doing this, I would like to do it with another film as well. Right. And 73 is Blade Runner.
Oh, yes! Oh. I mean...
And I want to watch the original, and I want to watch the recent one, because I really enjoyed the recent one, despite its social criticisms. But as a film, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Roger Deakins got an Oscar for Best Cinematography, rightly deserved as well.
It was. At the time of the film, when it was shot, it holds up to this day.
The original one holds up very well, yes.
But mate, it's so good.
Yeah, so I would like, if we do go for that one, maybe not next episode and some episode in future, I'd like to watch both Blade Runners, and we can talk about which ones we feel have been done best. And finally, option number 3 here is, and again, this is one, so I've seen both Blade Runners.
Yes.
I haven't seen, what was the other one said? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, yeah. Alright, so my final third option is, and this is on number 81. No, it's not, sorry, it's on... No, it is 81, yes. On 81, Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, God, yes. Mate, you've picked us in an absolute pickle here, like, I'm not going to lie. This is 3 belter films there, like, every one I want to see.
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs as well, you know. Just let you know which ones I haven't.
I want to watch it more, but I'm not going to lie, I'm torn between Blade Runner and Reservoir Dogs now that you said you want to... You haven't seen it, because I want to see what it is when you haven't seen it.
Well, I've had quite interesting fandom of Quentin Tarantino for some time. Went from loving him to hating him to liking him.
yes.
And you know, that's a very foolish thing for me to say, because he's one of the greats for a reason. But obviously, yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, if we want to get the next episode out quickly, I would say maybe Reservoir Dogs. But it's entirely your choice. What's it going to be?
Oh, Jesus.
I thought it'd be fair. We've got so much time on our hands, we can definitely watch.
Yeah, we can.
We're going to watch 2 Blade Runners.
Right.
The clock's ticking.
I've got it.
Okay.
Reservoir Dogs.
Nicely done.
Right.
Okay.
So
tomorrow night we're watching Reservoir Dogs.
Tomorrow night we're watching Reservoir Dogs. Yes.
Yes.
So then when we'll be reviewing it, the same day, or
same day? Yeah, I think so. Something around about that time. Same day after. You know, depends how it all works out. We'll try to do it the same night. But yes, so if, hopefully everyone listens enjoyed,
I've had fun, actually. This has been quite... I don't know how this was going to go, but I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I know. It's been nice. I mean, we kind of just...
Thank you, if anyone who would have listened. Thank you for listening.
No, thank you for listening to our first ever podcast, and I'm sure many of you who are going to be listening are people that we know. So
hi, guys.
Yeah. So, I'm Lazaretto. I've been the gentleman.
And I've been Papa Smoke.
And thank you for tuning in. See you next time.
See you later, mate.
See you later, man.
Fasten your seatbelts.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and nice Chianti.
I'll be back.